I'm down for whatever.
David Krumholtz, welcome to An Actor Despairs. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm chilling, making it happen day after day, living this life, wanting to cry, but instead laughing too loud in public to the point where people hate me. That's
Joker
kind of
style?
Yeah.
You just don't have the mentally ill card.
Well, hey, we have 45 minutes. You may have a different opinion by the end.
Well, hey, man, I just wanted to say, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I've always looked up to you as an actor.
Oh, thanks,
as an actor, I probably
too kind.
I'm sure this isn't the film you're most proud of, but obviously I discovered you as a kid in Santa Claus, and then I followed your career up through 10 Things I Hate About You, and then Numbers and all those things. And
I've been around.
Yeah, man.
Every once in a while they put me up to the plate, and I just try to get the bat on the ball.
But you're an incredible actor, and I had the great pleasure of going to the Tribeca premiere of Crown Vic, and I saw your performance in that. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I thought you stole the movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, my face is, I can't take this seriously. My face has practically been sewn into the great American culture quilt. And, no, I don't know what I'm saying. That was disgusting. Let's strike that. No, thanks. I'm terrible at taking compliments.
It's all right, man.
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Also,
especially when we're this close and
intimate,
physical proximity here.
I also wanted to say,
I'm sitting on your lap right now.
Yes.
For those at home.
Usually you have to pay extra for this.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say your Als Ice Bucket challenge, I'm probably responsible for half of those views because it's the fucking funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
I was just not having it. I don't think it helped the ALS cause in any way.
Yeah, well, it was a weird, I think it had the best of intentions, but it was like a Coney 2012 moment.
It's so quintessential of social media.
Yeah.
Like, let's all do something for the right reasons, but let's all torture ourselves in the process and get made fun of for it. Yeah.
All right, but I usually like to start at the beginning if that's cool. So
sure.
You grew up here in New York, right?
I grew up in Queens, yeah.
How was that?
Fun. I love Queens on some level. The most nationalities and ethnicities in the world are represented in Queens per capita. So you get to be around lots of different types of people, worldly people. My neighborhood in specific was filled with a lot of older people, and so a lot of weathered, crazy people who were on lots of medication. There was 6 or 7 pharmacies within a 4-block radius of my home.
Yeah.
Everyone's medicated. So as an actor, fascinating, always.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
Were your parents artists? Or?
No.
Wow.
My mom was a dental assistant, and my dad was a postal worker at the Murray Hill Station right here, sort of close to where we are on the east side, for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just a mailman.
No way.
Yeah. And he did go postal. Not literally, but at home he would, wish death upon people.
So then I'm curious. So because your parents weren't in the arts, how did the acting thing happen so young for you?
I got lucky, man. I didn't really know what I was, or there was no point in knowing. I was 13.
Yeah.
And my English teacher in junior high school, a gentleman named Lon Blaze, who himself is an actor and a writer, was given sort of an in on an open call for a Broadway play called Conversations with My Father.
With Jason Biggs, right?
Yeah, Jason played my older brother. Judd Hirsch won the Tony Award for Best Actor for that. And they were looking for a kid to play Judd Hirsch's son, kind of looked like him, and it was a big, dramatic, screaming and crying part in a Broadway play. And they were doing open calls because they were sick of finding, the perfect little polished
with the stage
kid with
parents.
the agent and the stage. And they found me. And I got it, and it was kind of crazy and a total fluke.
All 8 shows a week?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, total
I know
fluke.
Sometimes they do doubles for younger, so because of school or law.
Well, I'm sturdy.
Yeah.
And, it was eye-opening and wild. And then what happened, about 3 months into our run, the director, Daniel Sullivan, who's a storied...
Oh, it was Daniel Sullivan.
Storied theater director. He came and saw us, and he felt that I had completely lost passion. And I, at the time, was like, "What's passion?" I was just like, I was a kid. I really wasn't. It was sort of the downside of casting someone off the street, as I wasn't disciplined and I didn't understand the stakes. And so I remember he said, if, we're going to do a full rehearsal of the play, even though we were 3 months in to it. And if you're not good, we're going to have to fire you. And that gave me some passion. I was like, oh, gosh. But it was the sort of first big lesson in acting, is that, it's got to be as sort of purposeful and riveting and surprising the 40th time as it is the first.
Totally.
And kind of made me understand that immersing myself in it was the goal. And whether I achieved that or not, I don't think I achieved that for the first 20 years of my career, to be honest with you. But, looking back, that was a really valuable lesson,
And do you feel like it connected with you, like the bug, like that felt like your calling, once you were... Because I know 8 shows a week can be like, fuck this, I want to do anything else.
No, I had fun.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't a job to me. And so it didn't connect with me on, this is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life level. It was just sort of a fluke. I got lucky getting it. Couldn't believe it the whole time. I was just kind of sort of in shock the whole time that it was actually happening. I really didn't take it seriously for the first few years because
you obviously got an agent after.
I thought it was expected. Like, oh yeah, I'll work forever.
Yeah,
of course I'm in movies, and television shows. Of course, that's how it goes. And then when I remember I hit like 17, 18, and I went through a dry spell of like 9 months, which for any other actor would be completely normal.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I will never work again. And what kind of life have I chosen? Is it too late to get another job? But yeah, I mean,
and when you say
there are days now where I don't want to act and I'm supposed to show up and act. You know, I mean, I think Al Pacino, he won like a Lifetime Achievement Golden Globe, and in his speech he got kind of lost and he started rambling and he stopped himself and he said, sometimes I don't want to act. And to me, that was the most sort of revelatory thing, because I thought, sometimes I don't want to do my job either.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't want to wake up and go do their jobs.
Totally.
But how do you act when you don't want to? Because you're the product. And I still have moments like that. I think it's completely normal and healthy. But I wouldn't do anything else. This is what I am, whether I like it or not, or whether it's dangerous for my, I'm going to be 65 and still doing this. I really can't. It's a one day at a time thing. It has to become
totally.
That. And it's a daily reprieve. You wake up every morning sort of doubting whether or not it's worth it.
Yeah.
And then something magical will happen,
When you transitioned into like the Santa Claus movies, was that fun, like, for you?
It was all fun.
Yeah.
It was all play.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all game. I wasn't really a professional actor at that point. I was an actor,
Yeah.
Like, I can act anywhere. I can act right now.
How were your parents supportive of all this? I mean, obviously
crazy.
The checks.
They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And just, it was, they knew it kind of saved me. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have went to college. I would have become a mess. And so they were really happy, but and proud and supportive. But yeah, I always say, like, it's fun being an actor, but being a professional actor is painful.
Yeah.
It's hustling and proving and reestablishing your name and living up to expectations, or surprising people consistently, or trying too hard at times, and thinking and overthinking and over-preparing. Nowadays, lately, I just keep it super simple.
Yeah.
To me, the best comes from that, and that's for me.
Do you feel like these early films and that Broadway play where you're Juilliard, so to speak, like that's kind of working with Tim Allen and working with Jason Biggs and those actors on that show, that kind of like trained you in a way, or do you kind of feel like you figured it out as you went?
Yeah, I've always felt very much on my own. Judd Hirsch is an amazing actor, and I saw him nightly do 2.5 hours on stage, nonstop, 8 shows a week, monster performance, won the Tony Award for Best Actor, and barely prepare.
Wow.
He was just wildly confident. He didn't overthink. He just kept it simple. And the best thing came out of that. So that was a very early lesson that I thought, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem so intimidating. And later in life, and especially now, I sort of employ that mentality all the time, and it's been working for me, I think. But I'm my biggest fan and also my biggest detractor. I think that's normal and that's important.
Same.
Yeah.
I think that's his artist. That's
An
where
actor
mindset.
despair.
Hence the name.
That's right.
And I got to ask about it. 10 Things I Hate About You. Was that a fun experience for you?
That was the most fun that I had, and possibly the most fun I've had. Period.
So it was fun.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Wow. It looked fun.
We all just got along.
Yeah.
From day one, we were all the same kind of person.
Yeah.
Very, very loving cast, good people.
And it was
like summer camp.
Before Heath was shot out of the cannon.
Right before.
Yeah.
Right before.
How was, obviously on a nerd level, how was working with him?
Well, he and I got along famously. What ended up happening toward the back end of the filming of that movie was everyone sort of split up into little cliques.
Oh, no.
And him and his assistant and me, we were a clique.
Oh, wow.
And I love him. I loved him. I still love him. He was a breath of fresh air constantly and consistently. I always imagined him as some swarthy old Australian man at Hollywood parties.
Yeah.
You could see him getting older and handling it with grace.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I rewatched it prepping for this interview, and I forgot Allison Janney's in that movie.
Yeah, Allison and...
Wow.
Yeah, there's some great people in that movie.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It works, I honestly, when it first came out, I thought, it wasn't my cup of tea, like teenage films, not really my cup of tea. But
that was when they were making 1 million of them.
They were making 1 million of them. I was told, literally, you have to be in one.
Wow.
And so I neglected to audition for American Pie because I thought it was called East Grand Rapids High was originally what it's called.
Would they want you for a Biggs role?
I guess so.
Yeah.
They didn't want me. They just wanted to see me for that.
Yeah.
And I just was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And, now I see why people love it so much. But it wasn't my cup of tea cinematically. Like I was kind of a film snob from an early age.
Amazing.
Which was odd, for me. But, so yeah, I never thought it would have the life it's had.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, people love that movie, and it still plays on TV.
It holds up really well. Yeah,
it's 20 years old. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Movie, yeah.
And then coming out of that, I'm curious, because that was a success. I imagine you had maybe a little bit of flexibility about what you wanted to do or what was coming your way.
No.
You didn't.
No, I was still new, and it's only recently that I've sort of gotten that flexibility.
Wow.
Because
you were in Ray. I mean, that was an Oscar film.
Yeah, but audition for that, had to fight for that part. Actually,
Wow.
The only audition I didn't get that I actually called a casting director and said, "You're wrong. You should cast me," and I got it. The only time I've ever called a casting director.
That was on Ray?
On Ray, yeah.
Wow.
I just was like, this is insane, because their excuse for not hiring me was facial hair.
What?
And I was just like, look, either you want me or don't. I'll grow the facial hair. Like, geez.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, yeah, if you want it that bad, you got it. Which I don't recommend to actors, because most of the time they think you're crazy. But
yeah.
I knew they were desperate, and they were already filming. They needed somebody really bad, so kind of had them right where I wanted them. And I was brash at that time. I'm not sure it's something I would do now, but I do believe in fighting for parts.
Of course.
Because if we're not fighting, what are we doing? This is
it's a brutal
whether
business.
we like it or not. It's a rat race.
Yeah.
And, you got to do what you can.
And how did you, because you seem like such a great guy.
Oh, that's very kind. I'm all right.
How did you stay out of like the trap of like, doing blow off like a hooker with Leo at Avenue? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm sort of for all the good parts.
Not saying Leo always did that.
No, yeah, I don't know if he did it at all, but for all the good parts of Woody Allen, that's what I was. I was neurotic and a mess and hated myself and thought I would ruin any party. I didn't think I was attractive to women in any way whatsoever.
Wow.
Looking back on it, I could have plowed through town. Let's put it that way, but I had no idea. I just self-hate, self-loathing is a wonderful motivator. So and
I take Lexapro. I know.
yeah. Hey, I'm a Zoloft guy. So that's how I avoided that. It didn't really come to me. People would, I'd be like, oh, that guy would be a drag to do, drugs with. But that said, I'm not without my own issues, and I'm sober and clean today. So,
me too.
Yeah.
3 years, December 3rd.
I'm 45 days.
Wow, congratulations.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
Day at a time, man.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then I'm curious because, with like Harold and Kumar franchise, and which is a franchise hard to believe, and then Superbad. Did you have an interest in doing comedy at that moment and going down those, or were those just buddies of yours?
Yeah. So I taught them everything they know. No. No.
Because you and Seth Rogen are really good friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I knew when I was a kid that I was funny. I liked making people laugh. It was the way I was accepted. It only recently occurred to me that I was funny for all the reasons I didn't realize I was funny for.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's a huge release when you realize, oh, it's something about you that people find funny. It's not necessarily what you try to do, but it's cherry on the sundae that you can do funny stuff. Like you're born funny and you're funny.
I think comedy's so much harder.
Learn that. Yeah, comedy's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
A real pain in the butt. But yeah, those guys, again, just getting lucky, getting to know them. They had no idea they would ever sort of explode. Seth had no idea he would ever explode the way he did, and we just became fast friends. We just loved each other, and then one of us became wildly famous. And
it's interesting how that can
happen. And now is an icon of what he is, of who he is, and it's profound and wonderful. And I'm just glad that he, keeps me alongside him for part of that journey.
Because originally you were going to be in Knocked Up, weren't you?
Yeah.
But you had to do something else.
Yeah, I had to do Midnight in Paris.
Wow.
And then they both fell apart.
No way.
It's a really rough story. Yeah. Very traumatic. Thanks for bringing it up.
I'm sorry.
No, but I had real PTSD over that. But that I had to sort of work out years later because I had two amazing opportunities that both canceled each other out.
Wow. And it was because you did one and that didn't work out. You couldn't do the other.
I couldn't do well. I committed to Midnight in Paris.
As like Hemingway or
no, as the lead.
Oh, his own. Yeah, I can totally
Wilson's
see that
character. Yeah,
I can totally see Woody loving you.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
And then it made Knocked Up go away, a movie that we had dreamed of making. All my best friends in one movie, and then Midnight in Paris fell apart. Didn't get made. It got made 3 years later with Owen Wilson. Who was amazing in it, better than I could have been. I was too young, in my opinion. But so yeah, just like sitting on my butt all summer while my friends made the movie of our dreams, and I could have had that dream come true.
They couldn't figure a way to bring you back in. Or?
No, I guess not. They could have, but
it was kind of a fuck you for going to work for Woody.
I don't know if it was an FU. But I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I get it 100%. And having had my father die and my son born, it happens.
Yeah, talk to me about marriage. Through your career, how did that impact decisions you made? Because
my father passing and my son being born in close proximity to each other sort of made me realize I'm glad I didn't do the Woody movie.
Yeah. Was your father able to meet your now wife?
Oh yeah. He
wow.
was, oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and my daughter and my son briefly.
Wow.
He passed a few months after my son was born, and but yeah, I mean, yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Totally.
I guess, or not.
And
either way, I accept it.
and
Whatever.
having children and being a newborn father, did that kind of inform your decision to do something like Numbers? Having
No, by that at that time I wasn't married or have.
Oh
have a
wow,
kid.
you weren't. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, you know what's informed my decision a lot?
What?
Money.
Yeah.
And I say that with total pride.
Yeah.
This is a job. When you get too into the bloated artist aspect of it, you're feeding a very tenuous monster.
Yeah.
To me, if I keep it as simple as my dad got up every morning and worked as a mailman in the same building for 30 years.
Yeah.
When I keep it as simple as that for myself, I find that I can control my ego, and only recently have I sort of turned the corner of not letting my inferiority complex just define everything.
Yeah.
It's only recently that I've been turning down opportunities. Numbers, believe it or not, I was really hungover for that audition.
Wow.
I partied hard the night before. They had asked me to go in on it a few months prior, and I was like, no, it's dumb. And it wasn't until the morning of, for lack of anything better to do that morning and to sort of get myself through the hangover, that I went and auditioned for that. And
Did you drink before?
No. But I was perpetually drunk from the night before.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and it ended up being the greatest thing that could have happened.
And was it fun doing that? Because I know
I
it
loved
be
it.
The golden
Yeah,
handcuffs being on a
day.
show for that long.
No, I miss it every day. I mean, there was a period in time where I thought I was better than it.
Yeah.
Again, ego monster stuff. And at that moment, again, everything happens for a reason, I think.
Well, it's so different because HBO and Netflix didn't have content then.
Right. This was CBS. It was a crime show. There were 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm better than this. And then the writer's strike happened, and we shut down for a few months. And during the writer's strike, the extra special series finale of Extras, the Ricky Gervais show, aired. They did a special series finale. So the series ended, and then months later they aired a 2-hour movie, essentially.
The same thing they did with Stephen Merchant's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it. And it was about Ricky Gervais's character, who was an extra, who had become the star of his own television show, and began to hate the show he was on and think he was better than his own show. And he ends up out of work playing a human slug on Doctor Who.
Wow.
And his career goes to crap. And for me, it was a huge frying pan in the face moment of just like, be grateful, shut up, enjoy the experience. You're missing it. You're missing it. And so the last 3 seasons of that show, I had an absolute blast. Not that I didn't in the first few, but I really appreciated it more.
Yeah.
And when it was over, I was a mess, total mess. When Numbers ended, I had a nervous breakdown. Wow. For 9 months. It was a lot of fun.
Just because you weren't going back to that, like, oh my God,
just because I didn't know
do?
what I was as an actor, and I didn't know who I was as a human, and
how did you get through that? Were you married then by the end of it?
We actually, the nervous breakdown hit the day after I got married and lasted for the first 9 months. I dealt with it with a lot of help.
Yeah.
Got clean and sober at that time as well.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't.
Many times
there was no point in doing anything crazy.
You're not going to find answers.
No, I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was agoraphobic, couldn't leave the house, afraid of people. It was really bad. And I guess I got through it on just sort of staying curious in time, and letting time define who I was and what was happening to me in the moment. And to be honest, it really is a daily reprieve. Like every day I sort of have to remind myself not to identify with my career.
Yeah. separate the two.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I am a workaholic.
Totally.
But as evidenced by some of the terrible jobs that I've done, because I'm just, needing money or needing something to do.
Yeah.
I don't sit well with myself. And that's something I'm really trying to work on now. So.
And when you take a job, for example, because you need the money, how do you find the truth in that when you're miserable making it? You know it's going to be a piece of shit. And I'm not saying any film in particular.
There's only been a couple that have been regretful.
Yeah.
Thank God. And I just again, it's my dad waking up every morning. Going to a
so you think about
dungeon of a
your
place.
Father a lot.
Yeah. And he how hard it is to be a mailman in New York City.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's no joke, man. You get tortured essentially every day. It's like jail.
Yeah.
And so he did it, and that and I got it easy comparatively.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Quit being a bitch, David, is kind of what
is in my mind all the time. Like don't be a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Just stop being spoiled. I got too lucky, But
you're talented, and like you deserve it. Some people get lucky and become. I'm just going to be honest. They become cunts, and
right. Actors are some of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
I've met some real pieces of shit, and it fucking sucks seeing them have continued success. But someone like you who's very grounded and awesome and talented, it's amazing it came your way, and so cool that it is a street casting, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I realize my job is so much more than acting. It's really observation and listening.
Yeah,
and in that way, you're forced to sort of be grateful for all you have and all you don't have, and for people and their eccentricities, and for pieces of shit, and for the most lovely people you've ever met. You've got to sort of accept it all. Yeah. It's really, but again, it's a daily reprieve. I wake up every morning hating myself, and then I go fight. I see acting as a fight. I show up to a fight. I'm like a Vander Holyfield. I show up to fight.
Well, speaking of fighting, that no one I think is a better fighter in the world than David Simon. Talk to me about The Deuce. How was that experience of working with, I had Tom Fontana on the show who created Oz,
right? And
him and David created Homicide: Life on the Street. So you're working with the greatest showrunner, second greatest outside of Tom of all time. How is that?
Amazing.
Is that where you really feel like you started to kind of like come into your? Would you call yourself a character actor, or what would you? Because I know that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell I am. Yeah. I'm a floating ball of mass in the middle of nothingness. My experience with David was lovely. You just pray for that writing.
Yeah.
You just pray for it as an actor. I remember when I first started acting, like being in my house and being in the mirror and trying to be Al Pacino and go, I hope one day I get to say fuck in a movie, or I get to, and then it comes true with David and it comes true in the most nuanced, brilliant, expressive fashion. And The Deuce was for me just thanking my lucky stars every day, and then the bonus was Maggie Gyllenhaal, getting to work with her. Who
did you not know her before?
No, I had worked with her father. Her father actually directed a bunch of episodes of Numbers.
Yeah, he's good at doing the episodic direction.
Yeah, really good guy. Yeah. But Maggie and I, from moment one, we just clicked. We buzzed.
Wow.
In a way that I'd never buzzed with another actor. It's like we found each other.
That's amazing.
And we knew, like, this is only going to get better if we allow it to. Let it be what it is. Keep it simple. Don't make choices. Let's just ride.
Yeah.
We don't have to work on this too hard. And so Maggie and I just rode this wave of amazing writing. And David, in response to seeing us buzz together, wrote to it. And it was absolutely lovely, and I miss it. It ended a couple months ago, and
But you just did Plot Against America.
I did the plot, but such a different animal.
Yeah,
totally different animal for David.
But also David, right?
Yes, but even different for him.
Yeah.
Totally different animal. Same quality writing, but so different. And The Deuce is something wildly specific and special. And a God moment for me, where it's like, oh, you're in the right place at the right time.
The best company of actors, Chris Bauer,
crazy.
Franco.
It becomes like this silent competition where everybody's just like, damn, you were good on that episode. So bitch, like, I got to rock the next one. It's like, it's that. And that's so healthy, really healthy, But just having to keep up with Maggie, who was doing outrageously committed work on a level that I've yet to witness from anyone. I saw her do the episode 6 of the 3rd season. She has a very, very long monologue that is very emotional, overtly emotional. I saw her do that thing like 22 times straight without missing a word, and being as riveting and as emotional and as pulsating the first time, the 22nd time as the first time,
Wow.
and just jaw-dropping, like I don't know how, and then making it look easy and smiling in between takes, just jaw-dropping work, and makes you want to be an actor.
And that energy must have flowed over to you,
Again, just trying to keep up and throw her curveballs, because I knew she'd be able to hit them out of the park, so my curveball looked great, and her home run was even more special. That's kind of, it was a give and take thing constantly, and she's a dear friend, and I'm a huge fan of hers, and it's all lucky, man. It's all just luck.
But
really.
Talent is so involved in luck,
Well, it's God moments, because you go, oh, well, I guess what I put out came back to me. And there's so many moments in between where you doubt that'll ever happen, and then it does. And then, you just try to hold on to them when they're over. You just try to go, oh, yeah, that did happen, meaning it could happen again, So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And before we go to Crown Vic, I'm curious to ask you, in the market saturation we live in now, where, fucking Facebook's doing content, Yahoo's doing content, Poland Springs doing content. Do you think it's harder for actors to break in now because the market's so saturated?
No, I think it's the opposite. There's so many shows, so many roles, and new is really the most attractive thing. I think it's still a rat race. It's still, I'm glad I got out of LA, because it just felt consumed. I was consumed.
The first part of your career, you were living there?
Yeah, for about 15 years.
Wow.
And here I'm less consumed, but there's so many more opportunities for an actor to break through. Really, if anything, I worry about me in the regard of they've seen me do it. I'm done. I'm spread too thin type thing.
No way.
Oh, sometimes
best is yet to come, man.
I have a wonderful acting guru.
Who's yours?
Lee Kilton Smith.
Okay, I work with a guy, Ted Slabowski.
Awesome. Yeah, she's in LA. But she has a thing where you're only just beginning. You're always just beginning.
Yeah.
And so I try to, because there's a basic truth to that.
Yeah.
You can reinvent yourself, and only recently to a nice pat on the back has been people going, wait a second, you were the guy in this and also that guy and also this guy? We never figured it out until now. Like, the internet has kind of helped my career a lot, because people can look me up and go, wait a second, I had no idea the guy who did that was also this guy. And
do you feel like
that was kind of my goal? I was hoping that one day that would happen, and it's only happened within the last year or so. And so
is that why you did
very satisfying,
things like Superbad and This Is the End, to kind of get, be with your buddies and have fun.
Right.
And, and get exposure in that kind of 3,000 cinema way.
Sure. Yeah. But again, I'll
but that was
mostly
a
anything that's thrown my way. The only thing now that I'm trying to actively avoid is playing the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
which is kind of tough because
Which is Hollywood's great at doing that.
well,
Yeah.
especially now because
Yeah.
of the diversity mandate, which
Yeah.
which is an unwritten mandate, but I do think it's very important and worthwhile. I also think that as a result, I'm kind of now sort of in nice Jewish boy
Yeah.
mode typecast, and that works, but I can do it with the back of my head. It's not really challenging anymore. And it's also disheartening because it's not who I am.
Right.
I'm not practicing Jew.
It's
I don't really.
It's not authenticity.
Yeah, I don't really want to be
Yeah.
the poster boy for
Yeah.
Judaism
Yeah.
in America.
I get drug dealer
in
bad boy, so I
2019.
take Jew and
Yeah,
you
there
day
you
over
go.
that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
let's trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the only thing that's been frustrating lately. But again, so much of this is having faith
Yeah.
in whatever,
Almost
and
does-
sort of focusing on transcending whatever meaninglessness you feel as an actor.
Yeah.
That I just feel like if I put out good vibes toward wanting to transcend it,
Yeah.
then it'll hopefully come to me. But it's not expected. If it all ended today, I'd try to figure something else out. I catastrophize to the point where I'm homeless and in jail every day. The career falls apart, and Maggie passes me on the street, and I've got a cup begging for money, and I go, Maggie, and she turns around, has no idea who I am, and I go, we were great together. I do that.
Yeah.
I do it just like anybody else.
Before we dig into Crown Vic, I'm so curious
Yeah.
to ask you because you're such a great actor, and I really mean that.
Thanks. That's very kind.
Your resume is
I can
incredible.
barely take that compliment, but thank you.
How were you able to? I mean, obviously, you said there were panic attacks and things
Yeah.
like that, but how were you able to stay away from like the celebrity bullshit?
I
Because,
just thought it was so disgusting.
yeah,
From day one, I was just like, God, because the job I got, the first job, was such a fluke
Yeah.
that I always felt like I owed it to the privilege. I was a big movie fan as a kid, big, studying all that stuff, but never thinking I'd be a filmmaker or be
Yeah.
involved in films. So when I got that opportunity, and it being a situation where I got crazy lucky, I just feel like I owe it to that luck. I
Yeah.
owe it to that privilege to not screw this up too bad.
totally.
Plus, I believe it or not, early in my career, I co-owned a restaurant with my cousins that was a disaster. It was in Queens. And
No way.
We didn't do well, but our bar business was through the roof, and it was all cokeheads, and we became a coke den.
Wow.
And this coke was sold, and I saw so many of those people go completely insane and destroy their lives that I was like, well, I'm never crossing that threshold.
Yeah.
Because I know I would love it.
I crossed that threshold.
Right. Well, a lot
Yeah,
of people
yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah.
I just kept,
Yeah,
I just didn't, I got off on being involved in movie. To me, that's
It was cool enough
mega
to
high.
be
Yeah,
working.
man.
Yeah.
Like, why you'd want anything more than that or need anything more than that.
Yeah.
I just felt, but then, that was also me feeding the crap out of my ego
Yeah.
and then having later in life, like I told you earlier, to keep that in check. So either way, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But being an actor, you're just kind of fucked. But,
Well, then let's dig into Crown Vic, man.
Okay.
How did that come your way?
well, one of my best friends, who will be upset that I called him one of my best friends, is a gentleman named Greg Bello, an actor
Oh,
himself.
yeah. Baldwin's buddy.
Baldwin's,
Yeah.
annoying friend. And he's a wonderful guy, and this was his producerial, is that a word?
Yeah, for El Dorado, right?
Debut.
Yeah.
And so he asked me to be in it, and I would do anything for him.
For the part that you...
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't care because it's him.
Yeah.
Because it was him, and I would do anything for him, and then I read it. Joel Souza wrote it, directed it, and I thought, whoa, this is heavy, man.
Yeah.
This is really heavy, and I don't get to be in heavy movies, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do this movie. Play a cop for sure. No one would believe me as a cop, but maybe they can make it believable, and it
You
sort of does work.
incredible.
Thanks. It does work in the movie. The movie is so powerful
Yeah.
in its ambiguity toward toward its own subject matter.
100%.
You know,
and I think that's the imperative of that kind of film. It wouldn't work otherwise.
It's what TV's been doing a lot recently. But the great thing about this being a film is there's no follow-up episode. You don't know what's going to happen to these people at the end. The movie, you know, is essentially about police ethics and police brutality, and does not, in my opinion, at any point take a side.
No.
Which is very angering for some people. I mean, we've had some violently angry reactions to the film because it feels like, for lack, and I don't mean this as a pun, it feels like a cop-out, but it's not at all. I mean, there's a moment in the film, essentially the film's about two police officers. One is a longtime veteran who's kind of been suspended, Thomas Jane, who's been suspended to the point where he has to train a new cop on his first day on the job. It was played by Luke Kleintank, and it ends up that night, that first night ends up being the worst night of this guy's potential career as a police officer, in terms of the crimes he sees both committed by criminals and by the guy who's teaching him how to be a cop.
Totally.
And it's a School of Hard Knocks type movie, a ride-along movie that kind of gets more and more disturbing throughout. Brilliantly shot on a shoestring budget.
You guys shot Buffalo for L.A., right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks beautiful. And well done. It's rare when you make these little ones that they come out
that good.
So this one I'm really passionate about, especially because of its ambiguity, because it's not your typical narrative. It doesn't have a 3-act structure necessarily. It doesn't have a happy ending. It's not meant to feel like any other film. And you want the audience to think for themselves. You know, that's such a huge goal that so many people kind of skirt around when they're making films. And Joel Souza just, you know, did that without abandon. He made a film that he knew people were going to react a certain way to, because it doesn't give them the satisfying ending on either side. You know, there are police that love the movie. There are police that hate it. There are, public advocates against police brutality that love the movie and that hate the movie, and that's what we all wanted. You know, that's kind of the point. So it's working. It's working for the theaters, for the audiences that have seen it so far, and I can't wait to hear what the public, you know, how the public reacts. I'm sure I'll get slammed for even being in it by certain people, but I love it.
Fuck 'em.
What the hell else am I doing?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about your character for a second, because I spoke about this with Kathleen Turner and Shea Wiggum when they were on the podcast.
Okay.
And I think what separates the good actors from the great actors is, like, the good actors, there's room for the personality that's charismatic, and they just play themselves, and they can make a living at that. What you did with your character was not on the page. You know, I can imagine the script was there, and there was maybe a blueprint.
It wasn't much of a part.
How did you
on page?
How did you develop? Was that?
They just let me.
Did you base it on like a NYPD experience you had, or
no? They just allowed me to do whatever the hell. I threw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks.
Wow.
And,
because it's such a wild, crazy. I know that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that guy at bars.
I mean, they let me do a little accent, affectation, and then from there, that kind of informed the improv, and really just staying out of Josh Hopkins' way, who's amazing in the movie as my partner.
The Roy,
the roided out cop, who,
great actor as well,
so great, and just sort of staying out of his way, understanding that he had a heavier load than I did. And just sort of, I don't know, servicing the script, being mindful of that at all times, and not grandstanding at any time, and not trying to do any of that crap. That's so easy. It's such low hanging fruit to pluck, to do that and to make it all about yourself. And I'm just not that kind of actor, and so it kind of the part suited me perfectly in the fact that they gave me free rein to fashion it into something more than it was on the page. Was then again, I feel like I owe it to them to do it right. we're all extremely lucky, to be actors. It sucks at times, but really and truly, it's kindergarten. And even in its most intense moments, even when you have to bury yourself in some feeling that you cannot face in your regular life, you have to sort of find it in a scene. Even that's kindergarten.
Yeah.
I mean, really, man, there are police officers who see horrible things every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't have a psychologist to help them through it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is easy peasy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and what's next for you?
Well, The Plot Against America is coming out sometime in 2020. What the hell else do I have?
How about this? What's
I think that's it.
What's inspiring you?
I have nothing I'm working on now. I'm currently unemployed. What's inspiring me?
Yeah.
Currently,
it could be music, TV. What
for me, it's just gratitude.
Gratitude
Inspires me. Like seeing it in other people and helping other people come to a grateful place.
Altruism.
Really inspires me. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
My dad would have wanted that for me. My kids, I need to be an example of that for them. So,
yeah.
And in terms of choosing roles, again, like anything that isn't a Holocaust survivor or a Hasidic
or a Midnight
Jew
in Paris.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, anything that isn't that is inspiring to me. I'm like, oh God, they think I can play Italian.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So.
Well, David Krumholtz, thank you so much for being
man.
here.
This is awesome.
And I'm such a big fan of yours. And
Thanks, man.
there's going to be so many more great things in store for you. I know it.
Thanks, bro.
And congrats on the 45.
Here. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on 3.5.
Hey,
that ain't easy, bro.
Much love,
that ain't
brother.
easy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man.